Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing a little sit-down conversation for you guys. A few months ago or something like that, I made a video just like this where I talked about how my life has been on YouTube my entire life. And I just feel like there are so many questions that people can ask about this topic and so many questions in the last video that I wasn't even able to cover. So I just think it's a great idea to do a part 2 today because there are so many unanswered questions that you guys have. I'm going to get right into the video because I want to answer as many questions as possible. The first question is, did it make going to school really hard making genuine friends? So I don't know how many of you saw the first video that I made about this topic, but in that video I talked a lot about how my school life was really hard because of YouTube. In high school, I would say I did have a hard time because almost everybody knew that I did YouTube and they kind of knew that it was like a sensitive topic for me. And the fact that people knew that and they knew that they could get reactions out of me if they said something, that only made them do it more. I just feel like it was something that I constantly went through, and I feel like it was like a select few people who did it most of the time, but it wasn't rare for someone who had never said something before to just randomly say something. So for that reason, I feel like a lot of people picked on me. Like, it wasn't just a few, like it was a lot. Even if they just made a comment one time, like I would still include them in the fact that people picked on me in high school, you know? But as far as making friends, I feel like YouTube really didn't have an effect on that at all. I would say I rarely had experiences where people only became my friend because I did YouTube. I honestly feel like that didn't happen. Like, I feel for the most part, all the friends that I had made in high school, they were genuine friends. Like, I never ran into someone who only wanted to be my friend because they wanted to come over and be in my YouTube videos or they wanted me to post them on Instagram. Like, that really never happened. So my final answer to that question would be no, I don't think YouTube had an effect on my genuine friendships in high school. The next question is, did people treat you differently? I'm immediately going to say I don't think people treated me differently, but I think they thought of me differently. I genuinely do not think that people like treated me nicer or treated me meaner just because I did YouTube. I don't think that ever happened. But I will say that I think people's opinions of me before they actually met me and got to know me were very different because of YouTube. I commonly would have people tell me like, oh, you're so much nicer than I thought you would be. And I just feel like that is like a very backhanded comment. I think that people had a negative perception of who I was as a person. I genuinely think they believed that I was just full of myself and so mean because like I had this life on YouTube and I didn't care about anyone else because my life was just so different and everyone was so normal. I feel like a lot of the time that's what people thought about me, which was so far off. But once they got to know me, they found out that that wasn't true, which is really good. But for the people who don't know me in school and you're maybe watching this, I promise you that I'm not like that. I'm a very, very approachable and nice person. I definitely feel like the question that I get asked most, even from people in everyday life, is, do I regret this entire YouTube thing and just everything that comes along with it? I don't think that I have ever entirely just regretted everything, but I definitely have had moments where I'm like, wow, like I wish YouTube wasn't a part of my life because I've just been put into situations that I feel like I would just be happier without it. It's really hard and complicated to have like the mentality that I wish YouTube never happened, because even though there have been bad experiences, there have been so many good experiences too. So when I think about it in my mind, I could think like, wow, YouTube really did this to me. Like, I got bullied in high school and this situation had happened to me. But then I'm like, wow, YouTube gave me this and I had the opportunity to do this. So it's just really complicated because sometimes it can be a love-hate relationship, and I do deep down, I'm like, wow, I regret doing this. My life would be so different if I ever did it. But again, my life would be so different if I never did it, and a lot of the good things that happened to me wouldn't have happened either. So that is a really complicated question, but in it all, I don't regret doing it. Along with that question, they had asked, how much has it changed your childhood? I think YouTube definitely changed my life as a kid. I mean, I lived a very, very different childhood than anybody that I know around me. And the way that I like to think about it a lot and explain it to people is that like I've had a job since I was 6, like 6 all the way up until now. And most people don't get their first job until they're like 13, 14, 15, 16, whatever. Like, it varies for everyone, but I have just been working for a very, very long time, and I think that changed like my character now in like a lot of ways. Like, I think because I have kind of been pushed to grow up like a little bit faster. Like, when I was a kid, I wouldn't say everything was about work, but like work was a huge part of my life, and I think that has kind of caused me to grow up a little quicker. So right now, the phase that I'm at in my life, I'm kind of like, okay, like I lived my childhood and I'm ready to move on. Like, I want to get married, I want to have kids, like all of that. YouTube definitely affected my childhood in many, many ways. that I feel like the biggest thing that it probably affected is just my mentality about like a lot of things in life. And honestly, this question is really hard to answer because the main question is, how did it change my childhood? And I can't really answer that question because I don't really have a childhood before YouTube. Like, I get I was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but like I mentally can't remember anything from that. Like, I don't even remember filming my first YouTube video. Like, I don't remember any of that. So it's so hard to say like how my childhood was before and how it was after. Like, my childhood is YouTube and that's all I know. So there really is no comparison, and I really can't understand in my mind like how it changed me as a kid because that's all I know. Did growing up on YouTube ever give you any negative opinions about yourself, such as your personality? Definitely as a kid, I did not care about anything, which is crazy because I got way more hate comments as a child than I do now. I actually remember a long time ago when I was a kid, my mom used to get really affected by hate comments, and I was a kid at the time and I'd always be like, don't read those, like they mean nothing, and I genuinely did not care. It kind of wasn't up until I was a teenager until I started caring about what people had said about me. I feel like that was definitely the age where I started hating YouTube the most because everyone was just growing up, and being a teenager is so different from being a kid, and there are just so many things that come with like teenage life, and I just felt like I couldn't have those things because of YouTube. And you know, if there's any adults on here or just people my age in general, like, you know how teenagers are, they're going through puberty and whatever, and they're really dramatic and everything's the end of the world. So for me at the time, like, YouTube just felt like it was destroying my life because I just wanted to be a teenager and I couldn't be one, and that's just how I felt. So around that time, I really had animosity towards YouTube, like a lot of it, and I wanted to quit so badly, but I pushed through and now here I am today. But definitely around that time, I did feel like YouTube like affected me personally and like my mindset. Like, I thought like, wow, YouTube makes me look so weird and childish and whatever. Like, I just hated the way YouTube made me look, and that was a big part of why I hated doing it when I was that age, because I just felt like it made me look like a loser and I wanted to be like such a cool teenager and whatever. But yeah, other than that, people have said things over the years and I'm like, wow, why would you say that? Now I hate this part about my body, or I hate the way I talk, and I hate the way I say this all the time and stuff like that. Like, there have been little things, but nothing like super dramatic to the point where like I haven't been able to like get over something for years. But I have had moments where people's comments have affected the way I've like looked and thought about myself, but not for long periods of time, I would say. Best interaction with a fan? That is such a good question. I actually remember the very first time anyone asked my family for a picture, and I feel like that was probably the best time because it was like the first time ever. I mean, like, the first for everything is like such a crazy experience. And we were in New York City, like at dinner, and someone had come up to us, and we really did not have that many subscribers at the time, so it was just so crazy that someone like had recognized our family, and it was just like such a crazy fun experience for us, and we loved that. I have a lot of experiences meeting fans, and I can't choose a favorite, but I can name like a few. Like, I remember when we went to like CVX Live and YouTube, like that YouTube convention, there was this one guy that I specifically remember. Like, I think we were there for 3 days, and he literally like wanted to follow my family around everywhere because he loved us so much, and I loved it. And all 3 days we were there, like, he asked for a picture, so like every day we had a picture in like different outfits, and that was just so crazy to me because at that age I kind of didn't realize that my audience was so like diverse. Like, I don't know, I guess in my head I was just like, oh, only like young girls my age watch our channel. Like, I didn't realize that everyone did, and till I went to that YouTube convention and there were just so many different people of ages and all of that. Like, it was just a crazy experience because I just always kind of thought like, oh, girls just like me who were like young and whatever like watch my videos, but there were so many different people, and that was really cool. I actually met a fan today at the mall, and she asked to take a picture with me and my mom, and I thought that was cool too because it honestly does not happen as much as it used to anymore. So it was cool that it happened today. We're gonna hold Cordelia for a second because she cannot behave herself right now. The next question is, what's your perspective on your fans basically growing up with you? It's honestly really hard for me to understand that like people watch my life. Like, right now I'm sitting here and I'm talking to this camera, and it just feels like I'm talking, and I know I'm talking to people, and I know that people are gonna watch this, but it's really hard for me to actually imagine like people sitting in their room like watching me talk right now. It's just so hard for me to understand because like there's people that I watch on YouTube, and like it's just so crazy to me because like I love them so much. I want to watch every video that they post, and I just mentally cannot believe that people think that about me. Like, it is so weird. Like, I can't process that. So like when someone does tell me like, I grew up with you, it's like, that's amazing. Like, I love that. But I can't mentally understand it. Like, I can't process that I'm a YouTuber. Like, I feel like I'm kind of making myself a little dizzy right now because this is just getting crazy. But genuinely, it's just a really hard thing for me to understand. But I love that like people grew up with me and they know like my life story and stuff like that. Like, it's a really cool feeling that like people have cared about me for this long, honestly. Like, we need to move on from that topic because I'm starting to freak myself out. Like, this is something that I don't like sit and get super into in my brain, and right now it's happening and it's freaking me out. Someone said any stalker story times. I actually have a really crazy stalker story that I posted on my channel probably like a month or two ago, and you should definitely go check it out because it's really crazy. Did you understand the extent of how many people were viewing your childhood? No, and I still don't understand it, as I just explained. Like, I remember one time we went to like a Taylor Swift concert like a long time ago, and I think there was like 50,000 people like in the arena, and at the time maybe we had like 250,000 subscribers, and my mom was like, look at this and imagine it times this number, and I was just like, yeah, can't process that. Like, that's crazy. There's already so many people here, like I can't imagine more. It honestly is like a really hard thing for me to understand, and I don't know if I ever will understand it. But like, if I post a video and it gets 10,000 views, if every single person, all 10,000 people who watched that video were standing in front of me, I think I would have a panic attack, because that is a lot of people. I mean, I don't think I'm hardly ever in situations where there's 10,000 people around me. So I can't imagine 10,000 people watching my video, you know? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm kind of upset because I have to cut the video off right here because it is getting pretty long, but there are so many more questions. And I can do a part 3 to this, only if you guys want to see it though, because if you don't want to see it, I'll stop talking about YouTube because I know it can just get to be a lot and whatever. But if you guys want to see another part, I have more questions, so just let me know. And thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!